Holy crap, I love Spider-Man. He's a character that's moved so much through different actors and stories. But I feel like everybody has their own iteration of Spider-Man. Everybody has their own version of what they think Spider-Man should be. And many times, even what he represents. And personally, I have many things that I think Spider-Man represents. But so does everyone else. And after re-watching Spider-Man No Way Home for the first time in a long time, I can always say, holy crap, I love Spider-Man. Why am I saying that line so much? But anyways, re-watching Spider-Man No Way Home got me thinking. There have been thousands of stories and thousands of iterations of Spider-Man. And because of that, you can say that the possibilities of Spider-Man's story can be pretty much endless. So if you really think about it, anyone can make their own version of Spider-Man. So you know what? That's what we're gonna do today, ladies and gentlemen. I have put together my very own Spider-Man franchise. So enjoy the first part of my custom Spider-Man franchise, Spider-Man. The camera fades in. We see a road filled with civilians. Snow falls from the sky as there's only peace and no signs of danger. Until, oh my gosh, the Shocker slams this guy dressed in red and blue on the ground. Out of all the people you could have picked, you pick me. Yup, that's me, Peter says as he struggles to get up from his grasp. Who are you anyway? Me? The music builds and the hero says, I am Spider-Man. The fight continues, but eventually Spider-Man is able to get Shocker into a building site. Shocker tries to punch Spider-Man, but Spider-Man dodges it, and Shocker's fist gets sent through a wall. As Shocker tries to rip his hand out of the wall, he just can't, so Spider-Man webs him up. From here on, Spider-Man begins to ask Shocker some questions. And during this scene, we learn that Spider-Man's been at this for around 1 year. But for the past couple weeks, he's been trying to figure out how all these criminals are getting tech. The Shocker doesn't say anything. Spider-Man never expected he would. But then Spider-Man takes one of Shocker's gloves and swings away. Here we'd probably get that Marvel intro that every Marvel movie has. Not gonna lie, it's W logo music. We cut to an office building. We're not sure which one, just an office building. A couple of thugs walk in to see a man sitting in a chair. The figure is shadowy, so we can't really see, but all we do see is a white suit. Here we learn that these gang members have call signs. Jackson Wheel, whose nickname is Big Wheel, The Wall, but more importantly, there's someone called Tombstone. It's fine, I'll talk about it later. Now, one of the gang members says to the mysterious man, have you heard about him? The figure turns around. Yes, I have. As the man lifts up a cane, revealing it to be Wilson Fisk. That's right, baby, Kingpin is the main villain. But some people might ask, why Kingpin? Well, that answer is simple. Kingpin has always been one of the more street-level villains and a great villain to start Spider-Man off with. Now, sure, he's not the original villain of Spider-Man, but I think for my franchise, he's just a great way to start off Spider-Man. We cut back to an apartment in Queens. Spider-Man hops into the room and takes his suit off quickly. He walks into the kitchen and says hi to his aunt, Aunt May. Now, during this conversation they have during dinner, I guess we could just get a bit on Peter's backstory, like how Uncle Ben passed away and now they're living alone with each other. I think throughout this entire movie, we could just have some scenes where Peter is trying to hide the suit from Aunt May, just to show that Aunt May does not know that he's Spider-Man. After dinner, Spider-Man walks back into his room. He looks at some web shooter plants and then his mask, and realizes it's battle damaged. And Peter, after realizing that he's had the same suit for a year, he thinks it's time to make a change. So Peter flips out a book and starts drawing. We cut back to the same office building we saw earlier, and Wilson Fisk looks at a screen. The man called Tombstone looks at Fisk. There are many people to choose from, sir. I can see that, Tombstone. But then Tombstone points to someone. Heck, he even calls himself a hunter. What's his name? Replies Fisk. Kraven. Kraven the Hunter. We cut to the next day at Peter's apartment. We get this little scene of just snippets of what Spider-Man's created. You know, kind of like the opening sequence to Spider-Man 1. But after the camera flows through all Spider-Man's tech, we see Peter knocked out. Like, not like fighting knocked out, just like tired. We see his police radio go off and Spider-Man gets up. The audio is kind of cracky, but Spider-Man's able to figure out that there's a group of people trying to hurt a bunch of civilians. So Spider-Man looks at his new suit and says, guess it's a good time to test it. Here we see this really cool swinging shot of Spider-Man swinging through Queens. But also, throughout the beginning of the movie, we actually learn that Spider-Man has never swung in the city. He likes to be more of a grounded Spider-Man and just swing around in Queens. Well, at least that's what he says. But really, Spider-Man's nervous. He knows that he has to be the hero that the city needs, but he's not ready to be a huge hero. But anyways, Spider-Man finds the group and lands on the ground. So what are you guys yapping about today? The group replies, "We are hunters and you are the prey." Is this a cult? As Spider-Man's fighting this group of quote-unquote hunters, they keep talking about some ancient prophecy and how the hunters must defeat the prey. Now, while Spider-Man does throw some quips at them, he makes sure to listen to everything they're saying. After defeating all of them, Spider-Man walks over to one of the hunters. "Why are you doing this?" "Like I tell you." Right now, Spider-Man is just very bad at interrogating people. But anyways, the hunter does say something. She says, "He will find you, and he will hunt you like a mouse." So listen, buddy, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I do prefer the word spider. Spider-Man swings away, and throughout Act 2, we just see him fighting and stopping a bunch of criminals. But most of all, he's stopping a bunch of these hunters. And as he's stopping them, he's getting more and more information, until eventually he has enough information to find Kraven the Hunter. Spider-Man breaks into this abandoned mansion. Sergei Kravinoff, aka Kraven the Hunter, claps his hands. "Well done, Spider-Man. You know they do say that spiders are renowned hunters. But you are nothing more than an insect." Actually, I'm in Iraq. Spider-Man gets slammed to the ground. He's never seen this kind of raw strength before. And he holds his own, but he's just getting destroyed by Kraven. He's getting punched, thrown through walls, and he's getting stabbed. Like, you don't know, he's just getting completely denominated. But as they fight through Kraven's abandoned mansion, he realizes that Kraven's working for someone. And that someone is Fisk. They continue to fight, Spider-Man holding his own, but overall, Kraven is getting the upper hand. But then Spider-Man remembers what his friend Miles... Yup, I know what you're thinking, just don't worry, it's coming. He remembers that his friend Miles has taught him a lot and even tutors him. But then he remembers what happens when you mix webs with electricity. Spider-Man sees this electric panel and puts web fluid inside of it. As he's dodging all of Kraven's attacks, he eventually switches on the electric panel, and it explodes with webs. Kraven doesn't know what to do as thousands of pieces of webs are just coming onto him. "I'll find you for this, Spider." "Oh, I'm sure you will, Mr. the Hunter." And Spider-Man swings away. Until he lands on a building. Oh my gosh, I can feel the pain. Spider-Man just got torn apart. He can barely move right now. Like, he can't even swing right now. He has broken bones. So Spider-Man calls his friend Miles to pick him up. We cut back to Wilson Fisk. "He defeated the Hunter, you idiot, Tombstone." Tombstone replies, "Well, if anything, you're the one that made that decision." Wilson Fisk, angry, throws Tombstone out a window into a bunch of chemicals. Wilson Fisk says, "Find the body. I don't want any blood on my mats." And he walks away knowing that he's gonna have to face the spider himself. We cut back to Peter, and he's staying at Miles' house for the night. Peter lays down on a couch, and he just tells Miles that this is too hard for him. He thinks that he can't do it, and he can't save the city. But Miles says no. "Look at what you've done so far. You've defeated one of the most popular hunters in the world, and you're stopping now?" But then Miles looks at him. "Hey man, I know it's easier said than done, but the city needs you. We need you. Everybody needs you. Because if you don't stop Fisk, then the whole city could be in danger." Spider-Man, knowing that Miles is right, puts on his mask. "You know what? You're right, Miles." And then Peter figures out that Fisk is currently in Queens, so it's like he doesn't even have to go into the city. So he swings to go get Fisk. The boat's gone. "No! I can't do this." But then he remembers what Miles said, and he says to himself, "I'm such an idiot." And he webs onto two poles, pulling back as much as he can, and then he lets go, flying across the water, and starts to swing in the city. After getting the hang of swinging in the city, he finally lands on Fisk Tower. And he says to himself, "All right, Peter, you got this, you got this, you don't got this, you got this." And he swings in and begins to fight Wilson Fisk. The fight's pretty crazy, going all throughout Fisk Tower, but eventually Spider-Man gets the upper hand. Tired and torn to shreds, Spider-Man stands up and webs Fisk to the floor. Fisk struggles to get out of Spider-Man's web as he hears sirens. "In 1 week you'll wish you had me back." You know what? Maybe you're right, Mr. Fisk. But something I 100% know is that this city needs me. This city needs Spider-Man. And as Spider-Man swings out of Fisk's tower, we get an epic final swing scene as the music builds and the credits play. I am so sorry. That was such a long video. I do not mean to make you that bored. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm going to make this real short because I don't want this to be that long. I don't want to edit that much. But this will 100% get a part 2. So without further ado, here's the after credit scene. A man in a tall tower looks over as he sees Wilson Fisk getting arrested. Now Octavius Industries will rise. And then it ends. Now there's a lot of stuff that I left out in this video, but we'll look further into it in part 2 of my custom Spider-Man franchise, which will be the second movie. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a nice day or night. I hope you enjoy this video. Jesus is king, and I'll see y'all in the next one.